All right, welcome to the Movie Tweaker podcast. I don't even know what episode. I think it's like episode 8 we're on. I believe so. I will tell you. I will fix it if I am wrong. I think we're on episode. Well, we'll figure out in a second. But this is the Movie Tweaker podcast. This is solely dedicated to the Walking Dead season 6 finale. What was the name of the episode? Daniel.
Left fingers.
Last Day on Earth, because for some reason I was wanting to say one of the other ones, like it Too Far or something else. So Last Day on Earth. We are on. Let's see what movie. Oh, we're on. Actually, we're on episode 10. So this is episode 10 of the Movie Tweaker podcast. This should be a good one. It ain't gonna be too long, but it should be a good one. All right. First off, I got with me Daniel Rodriguez. How's it going, Daniel?
It's going great.
Glad to have you, buddy, my co-host. The Old Dirty 33, my other co-host. How's it going, buddy?
What's going on, Dave? What's going on, Daniel?
All right. Glad to have you guys. So there's a lot of questions. I see a lot of bullshit going on the internet, like usual. People aren't happy. They're saying that this was just an episode of them driving around for 90 minutes. Get the fuck out of here. I told one guy, I'm not going to say his name or anything. I said, it wouldn't be YouTube without this bullshit. I said, typical, leave it up to YouTube to complain about such a great episode. Like, they cry about everything, you know? Like, you know what? I would like to see Negan line you up and beat you in the head with a bat. That's what I think should happen to them people that cry all the fucking time. Then they don't cry no more. Or maybe he should take their eyes out and feed it to their mother. Or whatever. You know, like, I just get tired listening to people complain on the internet all the time. Like, I understand if shit sucks, but this episode, yes. Okay, the cliffhanger does suck. I agree. But we knew that was coming, but it was like one of the coolest cliffhangers you could have if you had one. They actually they don't show the guy, but they give you the feeling of getting your head beaten in with Lucille, a baseball bat with barbed wire. Let's just start it off. Let's go to the big question. Let's just start off first. Who do you think died, Daniel?
Abraham.
Okay, and funny thing is, before you continue, that was my thoughts first too. Before Old Dirty told me his, which I could see Abraham doing it. I could see what Old Dirty's gonna say, but I was thinking Abraham too. But I'm just curious, why do you think it was Abraham?
The only reason is because Abraham's the one that stood up to him, or like he straightened out and everything and looked him directly in the eye, and of course that means Negan will, all his men are watching, and this guy's trying to, basically set an example also for his men that if you stand up to me, I'll kill you.
Yep. And I thought the same thing. I even told Old Dirty on the phone. It was how he posted up to him. He sat and he looked at it like this, and he said, when he went walking by him, like Abraham was all like okay, I'll take it. And what made me think it was him when he hit him in the head with the bat, and he goes, "Man, you're taking it like a champ." Like like that. Just to me, it seemed like it was Abraham, because they're kind of building him up a little bit. He's wanting to have kids with Sasha. That even went on with the episode.
Right.
He was talking about having kids with Sasha, which I thought it was kind of funny, just the whole thing. Because it's just like I'm sorry, that's just an odd couple right there. I'm not saying don't think of a racist thing or anything. I'm just saying because it's black and white. No, those are just two different people that they're sticking. They're like two complete opposite people. I would never see them hooking up, but who knows? Like, it's the zombie apocalypse. Anything goes. Like, I'll be honest, I didn't really see. Well, I kind of did in a way. I see Michonne and Rick hooking up, and I kind of didn't. Michonne, to me, I just don't see her with any man. She just don't, she's like tough, like really, like, I see her more of a lesbian, like that's just me. But she did have kids, so, but yeah, I do agree with your prediction, but I have to say, I would think Old Dirty's too makes a lot of sense. Both make perfect sense. Old Dirty, tell your prediction of who you think died.
I actually thought it was Eugene that actually died. Because when he was pointing the bat at people, he pointed the bat like at Carl, and
Mhm.
it's like right after Carl, that's when he went to bash the person's head in. But I didn't think that it was Carl because when he said, "Oh, you taking it like a champ, like a man," and I thought about Eugene because I'm like Eugene has toughened up throughout a couple of episodes and he want to prove himself and stuff like that. So I was thinking it was Eugene, just the way how the camera was set. But I
Mm.
could be wrong. But I think it's Eugene.
Well, the reason I agree with yours too is because he gave that paper to Rick of the bullets. Like, even when they sent him off in the trailer, and he was leaving, it's like goodbye Eugene. Like, you've seen it. Like, he's like there. It's very emotional. Like, it's the end of Eugene. Like, he's actually becoming a man. And they could say, hey, if he dies, they're like, yeah, Eugene, he was all there for us. They could talk about him and how he was a good person, how he saved, tried to save them. I don't know. It's like one of them too. Now, I've been reading the comics lately, especially today. I read like 10 of them. I was at work and we were waiting on a truck. And there, you could read through them real fast on your phone. The comics though, and how the show's going, it's very similar to the comics too, but there's some, and let me say, spoiler alert, even though we just spoiled something. Well, we didn't really spoil anything right now because we don't know who got their head bashed in. But this is a spoiler podcast, and I need to write that at least in the description. But I mean, who if anybody's watched this, who didn't see The Walking Dead by now? I'm like, come on. uh, so basically, if you don't want to be spoiled about the comics, then turn the podcast off. But basically, what happens in the comics, Abraham's already dead. He dies defending Alexandria, because Alexandria gets attacked too while they're out on the road. And basically they capture one of Negan's men. And Abraham dies. I think Abraham dies before, in the fight, I believe. So that goes on. And then after the whole thing with Negan, or what takes place with him, and if you don't know, nobody knows about the comics, he actually bashes Glenn's head in. And Maggie gets really mad at Rick for not trying to do anything. She starts, punching Rick and slapping him in the face. And basically, she decides to go to the hilltop. Glenn in the comic tells her that it was a good place, and that's where they take Glenn's body to be buried. And she decides to go to the hilltop. Now, how everything is, that could set up that way but now in the comic now. Maggie has a daughter already. I can't remember what the daughter's name was, but her and Glenn, I think, have a kid, or somehow have a kid, and the kid's actually older. So that's a little different there. But I don't know. I mean, the way it's set up, it does look like Glenn, but it could be like they want you to think it's Glenn. But I mean, they really didn't give you really any for sure, like, you can't bet on it. I mean, you can't really say, oh, it's because of this or that. They really didn't leave it open. You know what I'm saying? They didn't give you any clues, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, the way they did the camera shit, they were flashing it this way, that way. It's hard to really judge that one. We would have to see, like, I was watching that guy, what's his name, last night. The one guy does all the Walking Dead videos. Do you know him, Daniel? Trevor or Trail, one of the Walking Dead YouTubers, basically said, we'll have to wait for future previews of the upcoming episode, for season 7. Maybe we could see something there, but they're not even. I don't even think they're going to show you then. I mean, look what we went through when we found out fucking Glenn hid under a dumpster. We thought he was dead, but that was a big fucking debacle. Everybody thought how he's dead, or he climbed over the dumpster, or he blended in with the zombies, all kinds of crazy shit. And really, he hid under a dumpster that you could probably never hide under in real life, because dumpsters aren't that high off the ground if you look at a dumpster. But yeah, a lot of people are upset about the whole cliffhanger thing. You know, we all knew it was coming. It was all over the internet. You know, people said they already said there was gonna be a cliffhanger, and people, it's like people are surprised there's one. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, really think about this, guys. How the fuck do they get you to go back to season 7 if you're like, oh, that was a great episode. We saw them bash Abraham's head in, Glenn, whoever, Daryl. They need a way to get you to come back. And what better way to leave it up to who died? They've done this with other shows. They've done this with Dallas, who shot JR, and people guessed for a whole fucking year until it came back on. And it's going to be the same thing with Walking Dead. Who did Negan bash in the head with Lucille? We don't know until season 7. So that does make sense. You know, it's not unheard of for this shit to happen. There is cliffhangers at, you know, end of season finales. Now, one thing I will say, you got people saying that basically they drove around for 90 minutes. Yes, they did do a lot of driving, but it was really cool how they were running into like barricades and you're wondering how is Negan's men doing this, like putting fucking huge trees in the road stacked, like, and you even see Eugene in the episode. He's like, man, they got some heavy machinery to be doing that. Like, you know, you get a feeling of how all this shit that Negan's men got, and you could just see the look on their face the whole episode, like, what the fuck are we doing? You know, why did we decide to get in this fucking RV and go ride? We should have just stayed at Alexandria. But you get that feeling. So what did you? How did you like the new character? There's a lot of new people introduced. Well, one main person that I thought was cool, the guy that plays Trevor from Grand Theft Auto. What's his name, Daniel?
Stephen Ogg.
That guy, he almost, I mean, I like that he looks like Trevor, even sound, you know, it's identical to Trevor. That was kind of cool, and he's a great character, you know. I thought that was a great addition to The Walking Dead. Like, I'm looking forward to future episodes with him. What, anything you want to share with The Walking Dead? And let's just basically talk about what his character was like. Did you like how they, you know, introduced him? And, you know, how he's got his own group for Negan, like he's part of, you know, he's one of the leaders of one of Negan's group. Do you like that, or?
Who, with me first, or?
Yep.
Stephen Ogg, yeah. Man, he was very fantastic, which, you know, I expect greatness from him. He really is a great actor. And he doesn't come out in much, but for sure he plays an intense role, and then definitely how he's like, he says bye to Rick and everything when they get in the RV and everything. He's like, you know, just he's sarcastic, but yet, you know, he's, I don't know how to explain it, but he's great. I love it. And then he says like, be kind to the people in the RV there, maybe their last day on Earth too. Yeah. And I love it a lot with him, and I love he's like, well, you know, when they were all circled up and surrounded, he was like, well, you got where you were going, whatever, like you're here finally, and just man, he's so intense. I mean, literally, my heart was beating throughout the whole episode with his character, and then of course Negan, but you know, I'm very glad. I hope he stays for season 7. Like I hope he doesn't die, you know, within the first 8 episodes or something. I hope he like stays on for maybe the whole season, because he is a great add-on, and you know, he's perfect as like, well, he's not Negan's right-hand man, obviously Dwight is, but this guy seems like a better right-hand man than what Dwight is just on the side.
Well, what's cool about him, and you know, like a lot of people are a little confused, like, you know, let's go to Dwight for a second. Now, Dwight, basically, when we first seen him, he didn't have a thing on his face, like he was burned. Now you see him where, well, when Negan, or when Dwight was first introduced, Daryl actually helped him, and then he stabbed Daryl in the back with the 2 chicks. And basically, now we see him with a burnt face. You know, he comes back, kills Denise. You know, and now he's like, you know, with Negan, where he was running from him, and you know, from what I read with the comics, what Negan does if he wants a woman, say like Dwight's girlfriend, he gives her a choice. You can come with me, and then I have to burn your your boyfriend's face or husband's face. He burns them with the iron. Like it's like I don't know if they cheat on him or something, but basically she could be one of the workers or go with Negan, and she don't have to work for points. Like I'm reading through the comics. It's pretty interesting how it all goes. Now, will it go with the show like that? I don't know. I'm assuming most likely. And I mean, it's kind of cool, like how you see like all these new characters, and how many people there are. Like Negan's got, like, how many people would you say he has, if you had to guess?
Man, Megan, he got a whole community, man. It's crazy. I was, when they was all surrounded and they was on their knees, I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, out of all these people that look like they all, within one community, what is he doing to keep everyone in line? Like, what make him the toughest out of everybody that's there, out of the males? That's what I didn't understand. I'm like, this one dude is telling all these other dudes what to do, and they doing it with ease, with no hesitation.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's crazy is like you see the look on Rick's face. Like, I mean, they definitely thought. I think they all thought they were gonna die. Like, and then when they pull like Daryl and Michonne out of the van, they just noticed, like, and Glenn, he sees Maggie on the ground sick as hell, like she's about ready to croak. They're all just in shock. Like the whole time Rick's just like shaking, like about looked like he's about ready to just fucking lose it and cry and go nuts. Like you could, and he did such a great job, like acting at that. Like that was some of the best acting I would say I ever seen as of late. I've seen some great acting, but as of late, you have Breaking Bad, which is amazing. So I can't sit here and say, I would say it's right next to Breaking Bad, if not better. I will say that on some scene. This was just a great episode, like just in how emotional it was and stuff, and how it made you feel for the characters and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now you had some. Let's go shoot with Carol. Let's go back to Carol. Shoot over to Carol and Morgan. Now you had Morgan looking for Carol. He basically finds her. She's, wounded. I guess she was shot right on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, she runs back into that one savior that was following Rick and them and Morgan. He had grabbed the gun. He got Carol, and it looked like he was going to kill Carol. Like, Carol looked done. Like, it was over. Like, I was like, they're killing Carol this season. Like, she just wanted to die, and she's just sitting there taunting the guy, saying, "Where are you going?" Calling him back when he's leaving. And he comes back shooting her, and then Morgan saves her, and basically Morgan says, "Hey man, you can live through this." And the guy he just wanted to kill Carol. He just couldn't stand her. You could see it. Like he just couldn't stand Carol at all. And then these guys show up with like armor and stuff, like and basically, those are the people that they ran into last episode or the episode before that were basically, it was the last episode, when they were, Morgan and Rick, they were chasing after Carol, they were looking for Carol, and they ran into the guy trying to get his horse. And from what I understand, they are called the Kingdom. They're from the Kingdom. Did you hear that, Daniel?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, so now what I understand is the Kingdom in the comics, or is that something totally different?
No, it's in the comics.
Okay, so the Kingdom is in the comics. Okay, because I didn't see that part in the comic show with the Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
But I've heard all the videos I've seen on this, so that's the Kingdom. So are they a big group? Do we know anything about them? Do you know anything or?
No, they are a big community, even bigger. From what I know, I haven't read that far of comics, but from what I've read, they're a bigger community. Of course, like a lot of them wear riot gear. That's what like their main thing is. They all wear riot gear, and they're good. And in the future, like where we are at the comics now, it's like Rick's group in the Kingdom versus Negan's group, basically. So season 7's, all that stuff is gonna one day, it'll be an all-out war basically between all these communities, standing up to go get Negan. But they have a new character named Ezekiel. He's black and like dreads, and he has a tiger. So
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. There's a tiger in The Walking Dead. I heard now in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm reading from when this all happened, the comics. And I read a little bit before that, a couple issues before that, so I could understand, what was going on. How I wanted to see how they did it in the comics. And it's just the comics. And I'm not, I never really got into comics other than what my brother. He had a lot of the first issues of a lot of comics, Spawn, X-Men, like real deal first issues. Like he was a comic, junkie, all into comics. And I always heard for years of like other stuff to do with comics, not Walking Dead, but the comics to me, I used to look through my brother's comics, but I was never into them. But I'll say one thing: once I started reading these comics, I just want to read the next one and the next one and the next one. That's just how it's really good shit. So the comics are really just it's anything to do with The Walking Dead. The only thing anything to do with The Walking Dead is good. The only thing I'm having a little bit of a trouble getting into is Fear of the Walking Dead. I love the video games, I love the show, I love the comics, but the Fear of the Walking Dead, I think it's going to be better this season. I really do. But that's that's outside of the point of this podcast. But so. What was some of the things you liked the most about this episode? We'll go with Old Dirty first. Like, point out some things you really enjoyed about, the finale.
I really enjoy how they was just toying with it's just toying with them, man, as they was trying to get to the doctor. Every road that they took, it was like something new. You know what I'm saying? It was the logs, you know what I'm saying? Then they set it on fire. And you can hear dude in the background, I guess Trevor. He was like, don't stand there too long because it's going to get hot. And that's when they got back in the trailer, you know what I'm saying? They were trying to make their next move, you know what I'm saying, to get, what's her name, to the doctor. And I just love how that played out. You know what I'm saying? I thought Rickman was actually going to have like a shootout with them, you know what I'm saying, and kill them, but he didn't at first when they first ran into him. He didn't. He was like, you know what, skip it. Let's just take the next road. And, and they had the guy laying there and they put an X on him. That's the part I like. I mean, they was just toying with them, you know what I'm saying? Then when they got into the woods, you know what I'm saying, when they got surrounded, that's when they started doing they little whistle call, and man, it was, I loved it. They was running, and they caught them right in the big open middle, big open field. That was awesome.
Yeah, no, it was definitely really. I liked how I do too. I like how they were toying with them the whole episode. It was just, it was one of them episodes, man, that I was just glued to my seat. And I mean, can I sit here and say, hey, there was some things that were disappointing? Yes, I'm like any episode, there was disappointing stuff, but for the most part, it was a pretty damn good episode. What about you, Daniel? What did you like most about this episode? Some things.
I loved, 95% of it. I think it was a great episode. One word to describe this whole finale, would be it's basically a journey throughout the roads, and I love all those scenes, seeing more and more saviors at each block. Just all that stuff. Negan's introduction was amazing. It was funny. He had the comedy in there. He had the intensity in there. I mean, Carol's story, it's leading to a bigger story, obviously, for Season 7. Like, every second counts in this finale. But yet, Carol's storyline was sort of that slow. Like, Morgan ends up leaving, and he comes back. Obviously, she'll be gone. Like, he's all looking for her and everything. Like, you knew she'd end up leaving. So it kind of, wasted, a few minutes there. But other than that, I loved all the Savior scenes. I love Rick talking to Maggie and, telling, kind of saying, we're going to get you there. And she's like, I believe you. But I was kind of thinking, was she going to say, but do you believe in yourself sort of thing? Do you really believe what you're saying? Because, there was a bad feeling in my stomach the whole episode because you know what's going to happen at the end. and it's not going to be good for the group either in season 7. But man, I loved all of it for sure. Again, from the action, except when the guys were shooting at the leg sort of thing, I'm like, they didn't get hit with one bullet on the foot one time throughout that whole thing. That was pretty. That happens a lot where they always get shot at the foot and they run. No one got hit at all. But yeah, I gotta say it's probably the best season. It was better than the season 5 finale than just being in Alexandria the whole time. But I think this is probably the best season finale that The Walking Dead's had in a long time. The writing was great. The cliffhanger again pisses everyone. I was pissed about the cliffhanger, but it is a great cliffhanger to bring back for season 7 because not even the actors know who's dead either. Like nobody knows, so they're still writing that out. And
now, what are they still writing out? You said.
What was that?
What you just said? They're still writing something out.
Yeah, the writers don't even know who they want to kill yet. So.
Oh, okay, so there's no. Okay, so they don't even know. Well, I'm sure they have an idea. I mean, I would find that really hard if they don't have. They probably don't know what they're gonna go with. They probably have shit written out, But I don't know. I'd find it a little hard. They don't have a really good idea who they want to do. They're just, what they're probably doing? They're probably seeing people's reaction. Like if they think it's Daryl, what people will do if they'll stop watching the show. Because you could tell from The Talking Dead how fucking old women love Daryl. Like they're on there, wanting to marry him. Like I couldn't see it going over very well if they got rid of Daryl. Like that just wouldn't. And from what I understand, Daryl was never a comic character, or was he?
Right, he's not a comic character.
Okay, so he's definitely he was a part of the show, So Daryl has no ties to the comics, so there's no telling how long Daryl could go in the show. He'd go on forever. I just think they got to develop Daryl's character more. They got to do more with him. They don't do enough with him. They have Daryl as this guy that basically is just pointing an arrow around, pointing a bow and arrow around, and says a couple words and every few weeks, and maybe grunts a little, like that's it, But yeah, I do like Daryl when they actually use him. Now, basically, they didn't really do too much with Alexandria. We didn't see nothing but, you had the preacher. What's his name? Gabriel. Yeah. Gabriel. Basically, I thought it was cool in the beginning of the episode how you have all these people coming up to Rick that were really, low on the totem pole, weren't really nothing, and they're all coming up to him wanting to be like, his right hand man, and he's getting a kick out of it. You could see it like he's like, "You trust me with Judith? You trust me to take care of all this?" And you could just see like Rick kind of like smiling, like, "Yeah, I trust you." Same thing with Eugene. Eugene's like saying, "Oh, nope, I'm going. I can pull my weight." Blah blah blah. Like it's cool how he got these like pretty much pussies and turned them into men. And it was because of Rick. In the group, he actually turned them from wimps to actually men. So that's real cool. I like that. But we didn't see much with Alexandria. Basically, it was just like a cat and mouse on the road, which was very intense. The music was great. How they do that whistle or that when they caught them, that was great. That was like when they had them in the middle of the woods and they're doing that and they were carrying Maggie and you all of a sudden heard them. That was kind of like put down a chill down your back. Like you're like, wow. You're like, and they're all like waiting for him. It was almost like they said, like I forgot who said in the show. It's like he said they're leading us in a direction. It's like they want them to go that way. Now I have a question for you, Daniel. I asked Old Dirty this. Now he wasn't sure like me. What did Negan get out of their RV, or was that Negan's RV?
No, that's their Winnebago, yeah.
Oh, he was in it, right? Like he got out of it like it was his.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he wants to. I figured that because he wants to show that, hey, I got your shit now. It's mine.
Right.
Yeah, that was pretty. Now, from what I understand with, like with the comics, like I said, I've been reading the comics here and there. When they go back to the hilltop and the guy that they made the deal with, basically, and I don't want to be, this is a spoiler too, people. Like, this is different from the comics and the show. They could be totally different. I'm just saying stuff from the comic. Basically, the guy that runs the hilltop, the main guy, I lost what I was going to say because the phone rang. Damn it. Forget it. It'll come back to me. I had something I was going with until the phone rang, and I looked who it was. But basically, I guess we'll go from, what are some predictions for next season? Like, where do you think this is all going to go? Like, where do we go from here? What's your thoughts, Daniel?
First off, real quick, prediction too. Enid's still in the closet at Alexandria. She's still there. Carl left her in there, which she has no way to get out. So, that's one of the things there. And, yeah, they already confirmed, obviously, that we're going to find out who Negan kills within the first, they're going to show the actual blunt hit and everything. So we'll see what happens there. Which obviously they started filming in 2 months, so thus there's people who go to the set and take photos. The spoiling dead. So they're on Facebook. So we're going to find out, in 2 months who basically, when they're filming the Negan killing, we're going to find out who it is. Basically, we don't have to wait 6 months. It's 2 months or so, and that's it. But again, I think it's Abraham. I can see how it could be Eugene, but it's either going to be Abraham or, I want it to be Daryl or Glenn, but if it's just like Abraham's not an A-list guy, he's a B-list guy like Eugene, just like on the side character. I want it to be a big character, make it pay off to the comics and everything, but I guess Rick and them will end up working for Negan for the first few episodes or so because Rick can't just bust out of there and shoot and break out, obviously. So they'll be stuck there, and they'll probably go to the sanctuary or whatever where Negan's factory is, and we'll get to see all that. Hopefully Jesus will return. I don't know why he wasn't in the episode whatsoever. Yeah, then we'll see more of the Kingdom, obviously, and then probably Season 7, Episode 8 through 16, more of the Kingdom there. That's probably where we'll see Ezekiel and the tiger Shiva. Yeah, and that's my predictions.
Well, I know Dave stepped away for a minute. Well, to go with my prediction of the next season, I do agree with you that that Rick and the rest of them that survive are actually going to be working, for Negan. But I'm pretty sure Rick, it's going to be a few. I think Rick, maybe Michonne, and possibly Daryl if he's okay. If he's the doctor. I think they're going to be cooking up something to actually escape. I think Negan and his crew is actually going to Alexandria to get the rest of them. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a fight, but I'm trying to think like what is going to happen with the preacher and what was the baby's name? Judith, because he said, he's like, we ready to fight, but he said if things go sour, what I'm saying, we have stuff already set up, to escape.
Yeah.
And he has Judith, so that's going to be something to look forward to see what actually happened, because I know they actually going to go. I don't know if he's going to let them stay there or is he going to go get the rest of them. I'm not sure, but I think Rick and a couple of more of them is going to have something brewing for a while, trying to just think of a plan. They're going to be doing what Negan wants, but so Rick going to also try to have a plan ready for all of them to escape or trying to kill Negan.
25 years.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I think. For the prediction. But yeah, I really enjoyed the that episode yesterday.
Oh
And
yeah.
I was surprised it was actually that guy. I don't know his real name, but the guy from um, that superhero movie he played in.
Like right when I started learning the
Uh,
pipes,
Who, Negan?
yeah,
Yeah, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Watchmen.
yeah, played in Watchmen because when it was getting to the part, he was like, I want y'all to kneel," and he knocked on the on the door of the
Mhm.
trailer. And I'm trying to figure out like who's going to portray Negan? Like how is he going to look? Do he look rough? Do he look tough? He badass? Is he built? Is he. And when he came out and showed his face, I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, that's a good one. I didn't see that one coming. I didn't see him coming. But when I thought about it, I was like, oh, okay. I was like, that was a good choice. You know what I'm saying? That was a good choice for
Right.
Negan.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back, guys. Sorry about that. I told you guys what happened.
Yeah.
So, what were we talking about? We're talking about was a good choice for Negan.
Yeah, I had just got to finish giving my predictions for the next season, and I was telling Daniel I didn't know how Negan was going to look. I was like, I hope he looked kind of like tough. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, you need somebody that look badass that's doing all this. And to my surprise, it was the guy from Watchmen, and I was like, that was a good choice.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now in the comics, he looks kind of taller. I don't know if that makes sense, and he smiles a lot. Just like in the. I think it was the perfect. I mean, I want to say he's not. He don't seem as tall as the comics, but other than that, it was like the best person to do it. Like the perfect fit for the job. Like,
He can shave his beard though, to
huh?
be like because Negan doesn't have a beard, so he can shave, and not have the beard for season 7.
Oh, okay, so you think he's gonna shave the beard for
That's
season 7?
Yeah, because that's how Negan looks. He has no beard, or at least when he first is introduced.
Yeah, I think they're gonna change a couple things. Like, I don't think everything's gonna be like the comics, but they gotta alter something. Like, but who
Yeah.
knows? They might shave his beard. Because basically, if you look at the comics, what happens after this is Negan, like, because he tells him, he says, in a week we'll be there to pick up what's ours. And he basically slaps Rick around a little bit. But basically, he shows up and they basically take some mattresses and shit and take their medical their OxyContins, all their painkillers, and in the comics, Denise is still alive and she's fighting with them. She's like, they're taking all the goods, like all the stuff. If anybody gets real hurt, we'll be screwed. Like they're taking all the stuff they could abuse, and leaving Tylenol and all that stuff. And basically, when he shows up too, he tells Rick, he's like, "Hey, show me around," and he wants Rick to show him, him and his men all around. Like basically, we own this place now. You're our tour guide, And I want to see how that all plays out in the comics. If they go that route, we don't know. But it's going to be interesting. Carl gets very ballsy in the comics, what he does. But I will leave. That's all. If I had to say what's gonna, like you said, your future predictions of next season.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I would say if we're going with Carol, maybe I don't. Maybe Carol turns around and joins the kingdom. I don't know. I don't know. Carol's fucked up. Like what they're doing with Carol. Oh, Frozen. What's up, Frozen Magma? I sent you an invite.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Thanks for inviting me. I was trying to find out how to add you. I don't know how to use Google Plus.
Yeah, you had to accept you had to accept me as a friend first before I could send the invite, but it wouldn't do no good until you accepted me as a friend. At least that's how I know it works. But thank you for joining the podcast, man. Glad you could be here. Did you see The Walking Dead?
Yeah, I actually just I watched just now because I missed it last night, and it was a great episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have a lot of people on the internet, of course, complaining it was a 90-minute fucking driving, simulator or whatever, like just the normal shit. Uh, what was some of the things you liked about the episode since you're, new in the podcast?
I enjoyed how they basically trapped them in there, and how he went up to Carl. I guess he wanted to see if he can get a rise out of Rick, like how he did with Glenn when Glenn got mad. I guess he wanted to see if Rick would jump up and do that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like. Yeah, he was. Carl was. He was staying there like a man. Like he wasn't. Carl was like one of the more like tough ones, like Abraham. He wasn't like, he's like, you could tell like he wasn't gonna bitch out. Like Rick was just in shock. Like he's just sitting there like he didn't know what to do. And I think what it is, Rick really never been in that type of position other than Terminus or whatever it's called when they got caught there. So he really, he just was outnumbered everything. Like he started noticing it when they were driving, when they try to go here, and then he tells Abraham, he's like, back up, and Abraham's like, back up where? Because they got the back road, down a little ways, blocked. Like, where are we gonna go? And Eugene did think of a good plan. Hey, I'll drive as like a decoy. You guys go through the woods. But I thought at the same time, like they're gonna carry Maggie, through the woods, and and then I felt sorry for Maggie. She's all like sick and out of it. She has to get on her knees, like, and that really fucking hurt Glenn. You could see Glenn, he didn't know what to do, and Negan just walks by. He's like, man, you look like shit. like he's just like a dick. Like and it's really now in the comics. He's walking by like he walks by Glenn. He's like, oh, I can't kill you. I'm not a racist. He's like, they'll have me as a racist, and then he walks by Michonne or the one other black guy that he's more in the comics. He goes, oh, race card, and he walks by him again. Like he's really like he has some funny jokes, and I want to see how they do them in the show. Like I think and he does curse a lot, so I don't know how that's gonna go over on TV. What do you guys think about that? Do you think he'll be cursing on TV like he does in the comics? Like, you think he'll be able to do that on TV? Do they not care? Like some things they don't care about, but I don't know about saying fuck all the time.
I think you get away with just the certain words you can actually say on on TV, but other than that, like the F-bomb, anything like that, nah, I don't see him.
That's what he's known for, the F-bomb. Like he says.
I could see them doing that for the DVD because they did say something like you're gonna get all that uncut on the DVD and Blu-ray.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the show's gonna. A lot of people don't know this, but the show's gonna go in a different direction. You're gonna see people getting raped, probably. Like that goes on a little later on with Alpha. That's a whole other thing. Like with the zombies that are dressed up as people, all down the road, but. This is the first turn that makes it's like all the old stuff in The Walking Dead is like, it's like a new show now, if that makes sense. Like they basically said this in Talking Dead last night, like it's a refresh. Like it's like, after a show's been on this long, it usually comes to an end, but there's so much, even the creator said, we got more and more seasons to come. Like it's going to be on, and the show's doing great, and that's great. Like it's really good. I'm happy that the show's a lot. I've heard people in the past say The Walking Dead is like they're like, oh, it's like a soap opera, blah blah. Like they down it, and I'm like, how could you down a show like this? This is like one of the most exciting shows on TV. Like this reminds me like where it's at now, like when I was watching Breaking Bad in the final season. Like that's how I felt this past season of Walking Dead. I liked it that much, even though they're two different shows, but I'm just saying my enjoyment was at that level. But yeah, outside of now I'll keep it real. Outside of them being on the road and doing that, there wasn't really much but that. Like I said, we didn't see nothing go on with Jesus. Alexandria, you just seen a little bit of that in the beginning. There was no other focus but really, breaking them in the trailer, the RV. They had it with Morgan and Carol, and then you had I guess they're gonna be the Kingdom. They showed them, and then you had the guy, one of the saviors, go after him. But outside of that, that main focus was Negan playing cat and mouse with them in the road. Now, one thing what I was trying to talk about earlier. Now they all say they're Negan, And if you, like I said, been reading the comics, some of the Hilltop people, they have never seen Negan. You know, like they'll say in the comics they have never seen him, and the guy, like I think Negan, the reason, like I think we asked this question in one of the other podcasts we did, The Walking Dead. The reason the guy's saying I'm Negan and this person says we're all Negan, because he's kind of keeping it like he don't exist, but he does. And one thing that's interesting, he came after Rick and actually met him, you know, and I don't think that's something that usually goes on with, you know, when they go take groups over and, you know, Dwight and the other guy goes out and captures people. Kind of interesting if you, that's why they were saying that, you know, but it could be different for the show. I don't know, you know. But is there anything you guys got to talk about with this? Like, I mean, frozen magma?
Yeah, Morgan killing somebody.
Yeah. Now that's another thing. People complain there wasn't really nobody that died, but there was people that died. There just wasn't big characters that died. Yes, there was one that died that we don't know of, but there wasn't no real big deaths other than, you know, like the guy they hung, you know, and then Morgan shot one of the saviors. So there was deaths in the episode, just you know, not big deaths other than the last one that, oh well, frozen magma. Who do you think Negan killed at the end of the episode?
I could see probably maybe Daryl, possibly.
Why would you think it's Daryl? I'm just curious. Like,
because I don't think they're going anywhere with him. He's just there. He's not. No, he has a big following, and I haven't seen him really get anywhere big since he killed his brother. When his brother was killed, there wasn't ever really been any shine for Daryl.
Yeah, why is it, like, to me, this is just me, and I know I might get a lot of hate for this. Glenn and Daryl, to me, like, and I'm keeping it real from other people in the group, they're the less relevant. Like, Glenn, I got to a point with him and Maggie, it was driving me nuts after a while. I was like, kill that motherfucker, die. I hope he dies in the prison of a sickness. Kill him off the show. Like, at that point when he was sick, I was like, let him fucking die. Like, I just don't. I used to like Glenn, and then around the prison time when that whole sickness started up, I started hating certain characters. I don't know why. Like that whole prison thing sucked with the sickness, and you know, it was airborne. That was a weak point of The Walking Dead to me. I have to agree. I like Daryl when they use him, like I said earlier, but when they haven't really been using him, like he's just there, like and he makes noises sometimes, and he don't really say nothing. He like grunts, like I mean, but you know, I guess he's you know, all the women love him, and that's fine. I understand that, but I'm with Frozen Magma. Like, what have they done with him? Are they gonna ever give the motherfucker a girlfriend? Like, I heard at one point of this show they were gonna make him gay. It was a rumor, you know, and I could see where they were going with that, with the guy when he was fixing his motorcycle, the gay guy, you know. Like I don't like what Daryl's just, he's a little like, the only real connection he's had was Beth, right? Like,
yeah,
outside of Carol, like Carol
and his brother, and they got rid of him.
Yeah, like at times I thought he was gonna get with Carol, and then there was Beth. You know, that was when he got drunk with Beth. But yeah, I think if now the sad thing is Daryl's a good character. Just do something with him. Just fucking use him. Like, people love him. Just give him a storyline, you know. He's just that guy with the bow, pointing the bow around, shooting walkers, you know. And Michonne's kind of like that too. She's the samurai that cuts walkers' heads off with cool fucking kills. But what else does she bring to the show, you know? In a way, that's how I feel with her, you know. But yeah, so you think it's Daryl? You think he's the one going?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, our other predictions, Daniel, he believed it was Abraham. That's what I kind of went. I'm with him on that. Old Dirty, he said it possibly could be Eugene, and I have to agree with that. That sounds legitimate, too, because they did have Eugene off in the back corner, and they're wanting you to think it's somebody on the, you know, front line, and how they set Eugene up, basically, when he gave Rick the, you know, the bullets, how to make the bullets and all that stuff, and basically how he's trying to become a man And when Negan hit, whoever he hit, he says, "Man, you're taking it like a champ." I could see that being Eugene. He went out like a warrior and actually became a man instead of a pussy, like the whole show till up to this season. But I mean, we'll have to wait till next season. That sucks. But basically, anything else that you liked in this episode? Like, what about Gabriel? What do you guys think about Gabriel actually changing his ways and becoming actually one of the group and actually participating and not being a weirdo? Like, what do you think about that, Daniel?
I love that whole scene there. I was smiling the whole time during it. It's great to see him finally stand up, and now that Rick finally trusts him with his daughter's life and the whole Alexandria. That's a big deal for Father Gabriel, and now I don't know whether they're going to bring the saviors towards Alexandria. I don't know if Gabriel could actually instruct everyone to go, and I mean, again, they have the backup plan and all that. I'm assuming they'll end up using that, obviously, and they'll leave Alexandria behind if it falls. But I am very excited. I'm glad they didn't kill Father Gabriel, because I remember when there was this whole outcry, just kill Father Gabriel and everything. He's ruining the show. And now he's not really a wuss anymore. He's finally, just like Eugene, they grew up and they're part of the team now.
We had some dumb fuck in the comments, and I'm going to address them because I'm just getting tired of people. All right, Corvo Black. He says, rename your video, you fucking dumb shit. Good job on the fucking spoilers. Yes, I didn't write spoilers in the description yet, but when you see Walking Dead 6 finale review, and what do you and in the title it says who got their head caved in by Negan by Lucille. Could we be talking about spoilers? Dumb fuck?
Kind of obvious. And,
I mean,
clicking on this, you're gonna know what you're gonna watch.
I mean, and who, like I said earlier, who hasn't seen this that follows The Walking Dead by now? Unless you have you work 24 hours, like you work on call or something. Most likely everybody that watches The Walking Dead has seen the finale by now. You're probably the only dumb fuck that's probably going to download it because you didn't watch it last night, or have to go to your buddy's house and watch it because you're a cheap fuck that can't afford cable. Now, go fuck yourself and have a nice day. Go suck some dick like you normally do and like it. I'm just tired of these dumb fucks on here. And it's probably Lawrence. I know who it is. Because it's the no picture avatar. It's the normal, dumbass that he makes about 50 accounts and has some weird obsession with me for about what is it going on now? 2 years, Lawrence? Come on, man. You have a fucking wife too. Does she not pay you no attention? You need Dave's dick? You want to suck it? I mean, come on, dude. But anyways, outside of that, I'm just gotta give him some love. But yeah. I thought it was a great episode. This was one of the episodes, I have to say, where I was glued. I couldn't wait. And I think too, something that had to do with that was we all knew Negan was going to hit somebody in the head with a bat, and we all were thinking, are they going to leave us up in the air? Are we going to actually see it? What's going to be the cliffhanger? That had some influence in it. But mainly, man, they had you from start to finish watching this episode, and I can't sit here and say this, like people saying, oh, they're just driving around for 90 minutes. No, it was a really good episode, and it really, makes me want to see season 7. Definitely bringing me back for another season. Would I go as far and say this is the best season finale? It's up there, but I wouldn't say best. I would say most emotional, out of any episode. You were really feeling for these characters. I felt sorry for when they captured them in the in the woods and they pulled them out of the van. I was and they seen each other and they knew they had no backup because Rick knew the other ones were at Alexandria. They were thinking, maybe Rick was thinking Daryl was out there somewhere gonna show up and save them. And when they seen Michonne and all them, they were fucked. Now that I thought about it, another thing I want to talk about. One of the coolest parts in this episode is they had all them walkers chained together, and they had Michonne's hair and Daryl's vest, and they had all their outfits, and they're looking at the walkers, and they say, oh, that's Michonne's, that's Daryl's. You know, that was cool how they did that scene. And even Eugene says, he goes, man, they had to have some people to do that. Like, it didn't take a couple people just to chain them all together, you know. So they were learning as time goes on, like, hey, this dude's got a lot of fucking people. What do you guys think about that scene? Daniel.
Yeah, I thought that was another good scene. I didn't. Well, I guess I had Daryl's vest there. I saw the arrows, and then I saw Michonne's lock of hair and her vest, which I'm assuming, or was it her vest? I don't know if it was actually her vest. I think it was just the hair. But yeah, I think that was interesting. Again, I didn't like the way they shot at the legs, but all of it, man. The zombie that was getting his stomach like teared open by the chains, that effect was awesome. The makeup of the zombies looked awesome. I thought it was really. I mean, they could have literally just plowed through them with the RV. I mean, it could have done little damage, but I don't think it could have like ruined the whole RV. They could have just drove through with full speed. But yeah, I think I love again, Greg Nicotero and his team did an awesome job with the makeup, and yeah, that's I guess it kind of brought Rick to about Michonne, and they have Michonne and everything, so it even brings more fear and more wondering. I gotta get Maggie to the doctor, and now Michonne may be caught, so it just brings more intensity to the show.
Okay. What about you?
It was pretty good. I like how like strategic it was. They put that right there, knowing that the only way to move is you got to take them out, and then you have people waiting in the bushes for them and stuff like that. So that was really smart.
Okay. What about you, old dirty? What do you think about that part?
I like it. I really enjoyed it. I think this is one of the first episodes in a long time, man, that I was really glued to it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't really like a slow pace, and then it kind of pick up near the end or pick up at the beginning, then it's just slow. It was really good.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, other than that, guys, if you have anything, I mean, I don't know what else to add. If you have anything you want to talk about, let's talk overall season 6. One more thing I want to say: the whole season. Nothing to do with this review right here. Now, this is separate. If you had to review the whole season, what would you give it, Daniel? The whole season. I'm talking the whole package.
A 9 out of 10.
Okay, 9 out of 10 for the whole season. Okay, what about you, Frozen Magma?
I'll give it 8.5 out of 10.
Okay. What about you, Old Dirty?
I give it a 9.
And I'm going with a 9. I agree. It was really good. It was one of the best seasons. I have a feeling next season's going to actually be better, and that's going to probably get a 10 from me, or maybe 9.5. But it definitely deserves a 9. And I think all your scores are good. But now, if you had a solely great, is there an echo going on? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. If you had a solely grade this episode, what would you give it, Daniel?
A 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. Okay.
Well, like an 8, yeah, so 9 out of 10.
Okay. What about you, Frozen Magma?
I'll give it a 9.5.
Okay. What about you, Daniel? I mean, Old Dirty.
Yeah, I think I give it like a 9.5. I mean, it's really close to a 10. But yeah,
Okay.
that's.
And I'm gonna go with, I'd say about a 9.5. I'd have to say too on that one. I can't give it a full 10 because for me to give it a full 10, I would want to see more, character deaths, like actual deaths, because to me, I still, to this day, my favorite season finale was the governor with the prison. Even though I hated the whole prison thing with the sickness and all that, I loved the finale of when he cut Herschel's head off and they just had that all-out war. That was just fucking awesome. You can't beat that. That was cool when they brought the tank in. That was the coolest episode ever. That was cool. But I put that this one was good too. But this wasn't I would say action-wise, I'd say just how they acted, an emotional feeling of how you felt for like Rick and the group and Maggie when you seen her all sick and they put her on her knees. Like they didn't give a fuck. Like, and just how he's going by talking to them like he didn't care, you know. And just how they introduced Negan, like you know, they did a great job. Or Negan, I always say his name wrong. But just how they introduced him, like that was a great introduction. You know, and I just loved it. I thought it was good. I can't say it was the best episode, but I would say the most emotional. That's the best way to put it. But I would say it's up there with the best, you know. But yeah, Fear of the Walking Dead's good. And let's just talk a little bit about Fear of Walking Dead. That's gonna start next Sunday. Just brief thoughts. Since this is the Movie Tweaker podcast, we can go a little bit longer. What's your thoughts of Fear of the Walking Dead from season 1? Like, let's just talk about season 1, just in general, your thoughts, and we'll give it, like, if you were to grade season 1 so far of Fear of the Walking Dead. Or do you want to do that in a whole other podcast, Daniel? What do you think?
I think we should just give our quick views real quick.
Okay, because I just want to, we'll cover Fear of the Walking Dead in the podcast like we normally do, but I just want to give, like, I don't think we have to do a whole podcast dedicated to that, because there wasn't really, I don't think there was enough to cover like a whole long podcast, in my opinion. But what's your thoughts, Daniel?
Well, since it's been, you know, since like September since it aired, I mean, it was 6 episodes, and everyone was wanting it to be, you know, I remember it was like a little bit disappointing season 1, but then again, it's its own show, it's a prequel, and I like the actors or I like the main guy, Travis. I really do enjoy that actor. I like the cast, of course, but now that they're going to the ocean, it's going to be more interesting with season 2. But I still fear that it's going to like have that season 1 feeling, because it was slow, but yet it's all about, you know, new. I mean, that's how it was with Walking Dead season 1. You had to get used to the characters. You had to get used to these people, and it takes time to get used to them. Mind you, they're not all likable, of course, but it'll take time, of course. But yeah, 6 episodes, season 1. I thought, you know, the production was good, the riots and everything. I enjoyed that. I mean, seeing the point of view of the apocalypse, which I never thought we'd ever see. You know, The Walking Dead, everybody rioting and killing each other, and they actually have Hispanics in this, and not in The Walking Dead. So, you know, I just thought that's like because it's Los Angeles, so it's something different. I thought the finale was awesome, you know, when they had the whole arena full of walkers and everything. And mind you, again, they're like new, fresh corpses, so they're not as detailed, obviously, as The Walking Dead is. So it's kind of like with the walkers. But, yeah, I don't remember season 1 that much where I'd give it like, I think I would gave it like a 7 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10 around there. I thought it was okay. But then they showed that clip last night for season 2. Like they showed like a 40-second clip, and I was kind of like, I want it to be great, but then I had that like feeling like it's gonna be that slow Fear the Walking Dead feeling again. So I'm kind of scared how season 2 will go, but at least we'll be in the water, and we'll see how far that takes us.
Okay. So great rating-wise for the. So you said about
a 7 out of 10.
Okay. All right, I can respect that. What about you, Frozen Magma? Did you check out Fear of the Walking Dead?
Yeah, I watched it. I thought it was pretty good. I'll give it like around a 7.
Okay.
I just don't understand the hate. Everybody wanted it to be The Walking Dead. That's what everybody was mad about, but it's a prequel. I'm interested to see how it's going to be because they're on the water. I want to see what's going to go on with that. Mm-hmm. They're on like a yacht. And, you know, curious if they'll ever, like, I don't think they could ever cross over. But it'll be just interesting if they're like some kind of like Easter eggs, you know, stuff like that.
Okay, that's who that was. Never mind. Yeah, this one, I don't know. Like the whole, I think the new season will be a lot better. I'm very interested with the whole walkers in the water. I think that's kind of cool. But the first season, well, go back to the first season of The Walking Dead. Look at that, for example. That wasn't the greatest, you know. And I think it's going to kind of be like that with the Fear of the Walking Dead. The first season's going to be a little bit, you know, like how it was. It was all right, but wasn't great. I do agree with Frozen Magma. I think people wanted, you know, like how The Walking Dead is now, which they don't understand. They have to start somewhere. But I think it will pick up on the second season. Old Dirty. What'd you score at Frozen Magma? 7?
Yeah, 7.
7. Old Dirty. What do you think of Fear the Walking Dead so far, and what would you score it?
So far, I knew coming in that it wasn't gonna be like The Walking Dead. So I was basically kind of excited to see exactly how the apocalypse start. The only thing that was like really killing me at the episodes was the son, the drug addict. Like he was really getting on my nerves. I didn't care too much for his character. I was hoping he'd die maybe, but uh, like you said, the characters have to grow on you. So I'm really excited for season 2, and for season 1, I would give it like a 7.5.
Okay, okay. Well, it's interesting that you brought that up about the guy with the drug problems. Like I was talking to somebody that likes The Walking Dead at work. They watch this Walking Dead, the one with Rick and all them, the regular Walking Dead. And I asked him, I said, do you like Fear the Walking Dead? And he says, nah, not so much. And basically, how he explained, he said the same thing you said. They didn't like the whole the drug addict in the show, and that's the main focus on Fear the Walking Dead. But I don't know. I think I don't want to go into that on this video, like where I'm going with this, but I think people have issues with that have never been down that road, if that makes sense. Some people just don't understand all that, and you got to take it as you got to look at the big picture. They're showing you people what would be like in a zombie apocalypse. Well, what would it be like for a drug addict? What would he go through? And that's what he's going through. That's how that's like he was at the church just partying down. He wakes up to his girlfriend being a zombie, and he's running out of the church. Like he nodded the fuck out. He's like, holy shit! You imagine that? You just partying all night. You wake up to a zombie, and then the crazy part is he went to the hospital. They're thinking he's fucking crazy because he's on drugs. Look at that was what I found interesting. Like they're thinking this guy's a nutcase because they got drugs in his system now at the hospital. They're like this guy's a Looney Tunes. Like he's seeing zombies. And I thought it was interesting how like his friend he grew up with in high school, basically was his killer. And basically he was gonna shoot him, and then he turned into a zombie. Like I like the show. I think it's got potential. I didn't know what was going on with the light shining like off in a distance, the reflection. I didn't get that too much, but I'm sure we'll figure out that in season 2 maybe. I don't think we will because they went to the water, so I don't know where they're going with that. You did have some bad. Did they ever tell us in season 1 what was up with that, Daniel?
The flashlight thing.
Yeah, well, remember that they were seeing the person flash the reflection. Did you remember that?
No, I remember it. I don't know whether it's a nod towards the whole the little between the Walking Dead. They do that flight thing with them on the airplane because one of the characters from that airplane that crashes is gonna come to Fear the Walking Dead season 2. I don't know whether that's just some random people over there or that's one of the characters like that will link to the season 2.
Okay.
So it could be that.
Yeah.
But you gotta remember too with that flashing light. I remember the guy that was the drug addict was telling his stepfather, he was like, "There's someone over there," and basically what I remember, if I'm not mistaken, they said that they cleared that area back over there in the distance. He kept seeing that blinking light at, so it shouldn't have been nobody alive over there. And then remember when his stepdad went up on the roof because something happened. I can't remember what happened. But he went to clear his head, and when he sat down on the roof, he seen that blinking light, and he wanted to go tell somebody, but before he could, he seen the gunshots, I guess, from the soldiers that was lighting up the whole room. So that was kind of weird. Like I don't know, was that area supposed to be cleared out and nobody's supposed to be over there in that specific area, and they found that person and killed them? But Yeah, it looked like whoever it was trying to signal somebody for help or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I think they'll explain it more. The only reason I don't know if they'll explain it more is because they're going to be on the water now, so I don't know what's going to go with that. And spoiler alert again, I have heard rumors that Fear the Walking Dead is going to tie into Walking Dead. That is a rumor. It's a rumor, so don't freak out anybody watching this video. It kind of makes sense, because how are they going to cover all this other shit in The Walking Dead? They would have to do like 10 more seasons just to get to certain places they're not even close to right now. It's going on in the comics. So what would be a faster way of covering it? Why not do Fear the Walking Dead? You know what I'm saying? And tie it into The Walking Dead and just blend those characters in. Does that make sense?
I could see them doing that, like how I remember Walking Dead season 2. They found the prison and then they fast forward it like years, like months. I'm glad they're not doing that with Walking Dead now, but I could see them doing that like months later on, and then they just don't talk about it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You know
well,
what I
there
mean?
is a rumor. The blonde chick, that's that's the drug addict's mother. They say there's a rumor going around that she's gonna be Alpha. If you guys
Yeah.
know who Alpha is, like that's gonna be the Whisperers. Like, but who knows? Like, but it would make sense because I thought of this. I was like, how do you have two Walking Dead shows going on, in a year? I know the show does great, but do we like? I have a question to ask you guys. Do we need two Walking Deads a year, Daniel?
The more, the better. I think so, because again, it's a prequel wise, and it's in a different location. So, I mean, you could argue about it, basically saying, is it really needed? No, but then again, it's a something on the side for us to wait, for The Walking Dead to come back. So, I say yes, it's needed. Like, do we need Better Call Saul with well, now that Breaking Bad's over, but say a Better Call Saul was on when Breaking Bad was on. Is it really needed? But yet it's a prequel, so the more the merrier,
Yeah, but you know what that has the potential to do? That's a bad thing. Say Walking Dead does drop down a little, which I find it very hard to do with what's going to go on. Say it did though. When you have two shows going on, the only reason this is possible is because The Walking Dead's doing good right now. It's doing really good. If the show was at a level where people weren't really happy with it and they had two going on, you're kind of overkilling it, if that makes sense. Like, there's just so many people that love The Walking Dead right now, but that could have the potential of burning it out too. When you give people too much. Like, I don't care for example, let's go with all these superhero movies. There's all these superhero movies coming out, but eventually you will get there. People will hit their limits with stuff like, oh God, they're going to do this again. It's going to be I just think it could be a little much. It could be like there is that possibility of getting people burnt out. Like the longer you have to wait for something, the more the anticipation is. But when you have something that's right after that to cover you and it's always on, it has the potential to burn things out. I know people don't want to hear that, but it is true. Would you guys agree with that or no?
Yeah.
I can see it to some degree, yeah.
Yeah, could you see? I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I know everybody loves The Walking Dead. I'm not saying I don't want them to do too, but it can have the potential to make people be sick of The Walking Dead if that makes sense. Like, oh God, more it's as long as they keep it going how it's going, where it's just on the edge of your seat, that's great, But as soon as that level of degree goes down, it could be a bad thing, But I think it's going to all tie into one. I don't see them doing this forever with two Walking Deads going on. I think it's going to tie into one. I think this is just to cover more storyline, so they don't have to do, 10, 15 seasons. Because they said it would be ridiculous how many seasons there would be, as if they were to cover everything from the comics, And you guys got to, everybody's got to come to the, basically I come to understand that The Walking Dead's great now, but will it be great 4 years from now? Look at shows like Dexter that were amazing. And then when they hit season 5, it hit like a speed bump, and then it went down, and then went back up, and went down. 2 seasons, like season 7, I thought was good, but some people didn't like it. You know, Dexter that happened with, True Blood that happened with, a lot of shows that happens with. You know, you have some great things going on, and they could just do some shitty storylines. And one thing with Walking Dead, that prison, that shit sucked. That was, ugh. I couldn't wait for them to get out of the prison. But when they did that prison fight at the end, that was awesome. That was like the real, that like revived the show or something. Because I was a little worried about it at that point with the whole sickness thing. I didn't care for it. Did you guys like that part of The Walking Dead, or?
The prison was okay. I really didn't. The whole governor thing was okay. That's one of my least favorites. I mean, it was okay, but like you said, the season finale where they actually, went to war with each other was good. But the whole governor thing, I didn't really catch much for it. And then they showed his backstory, and he wandering around by himself. He found, who was it? Tara and her family. I just couldn't get into the governor like that.
I liked the governor. I thought he was cool. There was periods of that, like the prison with the whole, and the thing that I find weird too, like that the virus or whatever it's turned into a zombie, it went airborne. So why isn't it catching people now? Like why nobody contained it? Like they just like kind of like swept that under the rug. You know what I'm saying? Like why isn't there anybody else catching it airborne? Like why was everybody catching it? Like they never explained it, Does that make sense? Or
yeah,
like they just phased that storyline out. Like I was like, why'd they go there if they're not going to cover what happened? Like, or but I don't know. A lot of mysteries. I have a question. Do you ever think there will be a reason why this all happened?
yeah.
Dan, or
No.
Older, you go first. What'd you say?
I want to say yeah, and that's why I wanted to get from Fear of the Dead, because it looked like this is where it's actually taking place at. It looked like it's in California where it took place at, and it just started spreading, especially like when they show, minute and a half scenes of when they on a plane, you know what I'm saying, and that the zombie, I think they coming into California or leaving California, but that was my whole purpose of wanting to watch Fear the Walking Dead, because to me it was like, is this going to explain how it all started? You know what I'm saying? Will we get some type of small information or big information on how it started? Because remember, the Walking Dead, it just started. We just went to where Rick actually woke up abandoned in a hospital, and he had to I think he encountered one walker or something like that, but he seemed like the whole hospital was messed up and he didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
He didn't either. So I'm hoping that Fear the Walking Dead will at least shine a little light on of, how all this took place.
Yeah. Well, I think that's part of the reason why they did it too. To give us an insight of what happened before, like, because Rick woke up after everything was taking place. Another thing I always find real weird, like, we see the military in Fear of the Walking Dead, but you mean to tell me there's no military in The Walking Dead at all? Like, we've seen those cops that time, those crazy cops, but, like, I mean, there's somebody has to know what went on. There's somebody out there that has to have an idea of what went on. We have seen Eugene that, faked he had the cure. He knew something was in Washington. I think it was the second season or first season with the one. I think it was the first season with the one guy that they locked themselves in with the room, and he had the. You guys remember that? He had the cure or something.
The scientist.
Yeah, the CDC.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I'd like to have an idea of why this happened. That'd be cool, even if it's later on down the road. Even if that's what they end the show with, why it happened. That'd be cool. I mean, I just hope they don't leave it. But the same thing too. I don't think the show's about that. Like, you have a lot of people that that resist The Walking Dead because they just think it's about zombies and there's just people killing zombies, but it's not about that. It's about people surviving with zombies and what the world would be like. And I think that that's the problem. People think that it's just about them going around killing zombies. Like that's how my mom used to think about the show. She says, "Oh, all they do is just stab zombies." She didn't watch the show, but she just saw it by commercials. They're just killing zombies. When she started watching it, she loved it. Same thing when my dad used to watch it. He got into it. He thought it was like that at first. It was going to be about zombies, but he liked horror movies anyways. But a lot of people think that they don't watch The Walking Dead, and reasons they don't watch The Walking Dead, they just think they just kill zombies in the episode. But once people actually give it a chance, they end up liking it. So it's a really good show that a lot of people can watch, and get into for a lot of different reasons. Different things they may like about it. But anything else you guys want to add to the podcast? I think we're going to shut it down.
Yeah, one more thing.
Okay.
Going back to, again, the finale last night. Jeffrey Dean Morgan was fantastic as Negan. Great casting. He has the charisma. He's intense. He's funny. Again, he only said shit basically like 3-4 times, which is, if you're not going to use the F word, then I guess you can use it on cable, so I guess that's the F word now is shit for him. But other than that, since Negan's still alive in the comics, obviously, I'm assuming they could, if they do stay the comic book route and they don't kill Negan, maybe Jeffrey Dean Morgan has a contract or something where he has to go somewhere else, like after season 7. Maybe that means that Negan will be around for like season 7, season 8, season 9. So that means he'll be around for a good 3-4 years at most. So, but of course he'll be reigning for season 7. But all I'm saying is just it's great to have Jeffrey Dean Morgan on the show. From Supernatural, Grey's Anatomy. I mean, he's a fantastic actor, and season 7 is going to be awesome. Just 6 more months to go. So.
Only 6 more months, Daniel? No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking with you. No, I was talking to Old Dirty last night about how time just seems like it just flies by, and I know we'll be there before we know it. We'll be watching the beginning of season 7. Time flies by fast for me, at least. I don't know why. I guess it's because, like I was telling him, it seems like when you get older, it just flies by, and it'll be Christmas before you know it. It'll be E3 before we know it. We'll be talking about all the new video games shown. And it just seems like we're just watched the last E3. It's crazy how things just fly by. But anything else you got to say, Frozen Magma? I appreciate you joining, man.
Thanks for allowing me to get here. I don't know, Google's just weird. I don't know, for some reason I couldn't find you. I was having issues with Google, but
yeah, Google does this weird thing where where I send an invite, I can go right there and send it where it says invite people. But sometimes their names will show up one week, and then next week I'll have to go a whole other route of inviting people. Like, for example, Old Dirty, he always showed up on invite people, but now he shows up on share. So I have to share the page to him. It's really fucking stupid how they do this, but it's some glitch or something or update that screwed things up. I don't know, but they need to get it fixed. It's really annoying because I can't find, like, you were kind of hard to find, and then when I found you on Google Plus where I could send the friends request, then you showed up on the other thing. It's just beyond annoying how they do it. But yeah, I appreciate you joining, man. Thank you.
no problem.
Yeah, and hope you come back. Are you off Mondays? Is that?
Yeah, I'm off Monday through
Okay,
Thursday.
so we might do this might become a permanent thing for now until things change on schedules, but Monday might be the Movie Tweaker podcast from now on.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna also pick up the Walking Dead box set to see how Negan's gonna sound uncut. I'm interested to see that.
And what will they come with? What do you think it's gonna come with? Like, how it comes with certain things, like a zombie with a screwdriver through the skull. Like, what's it gonna come with? Lucille or something?
Maybe I could see that they're doing that, like a little Lucille. That'll be kind of cool.
Yeah. I think it's gonna. I'm very happy where The Walking Dead is. I mean, it's exciting now. I will say this: I love The Walking Dead, but it is like they refreshed the show. It's like a whole new show now, and I'm very curious how they're gonna play out from the comics. That's why I'm reading the comics, like what they do with that. I want to see how it's gonna go because I don't really want to wait till October. I just want to see what happens, like how it goes. Like I know it ain't gonna be the exact same, but it's gonna be somewhat close and give you an idea of what happens. But yeah, Old Dirty, anything else you got?
Nah, that's it.
All right. Thank you, Daniel Rodriguez, for joining as always.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you, Frozen Magma, for joining as always.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Do you have a YouTube channel or no?
Yeah, I got a channel. It's
Okay.
it's
I'll
a
put-
it's just my name, but usually it's hard to find me everywhere for some reason. I don't know why YouTube acts weird sometimes.
Do you do videos?
Yeah, I do videos every day.
Okay, I didn't see. I can't keep up. It's hard for me to keep up with everybody. I talk to so many people on YouTube, and some people I talk to they do videos. Some people I don't. And I might even seen your videos. I don't know. I watch. I'm subscribed to so many different people and watch so many different people. But lately, I just haven't been able to keep up with everybody with what's been going on. But I'll definitely put your channel in the link with Daniel's and Old Dirty's. And thank you, Old Dirty, as always, for joining.
No problem, Dave.
And more Movie Tweaker podcast to come. Movie Tweaker podcast to come later, YouTube.